How's it going, everybody? These are the Gamer Jit, and tonight I got a brand new segment for you guys called the Introvert Movie Buff. And tonight I'm going to show you a little bit of my zombie collection, Blu-ray, and review this movie I just finished watching called Zombie 5 Killing Bird. So let me show you guys a little bit of my collection I got here. From way back to the beginning, black and white. We got the Night of the Living Dead Blu-ray right here, the original black and white, the George Romero cult classic. We got Dawn of the Dead, George Romero right here. This is the second part of the zombie trilogy right here, Blu-ray. We got Day of the Dead, which is the third installment of the trilogy from George Romero. And these are some good ones right here. Awesome, gory, good stuff. You know, the trilogy is so great. And then we got, of course, the Night of the Living Dead. Now, this is actually the 90s remake that they had with Tom Savini as the director. And this one is great. It's a good spin-off. Has a great, awesome twist ending that everybody loves. So if you haven't seen the 90s remake, go check this one out. This is a real good one. I recommend it. Then we have Dawn of the Dead and Land of the Dead, George Romero's. Now these were like the early 2000s remakes that George Romero made. And man, that Dawn of the Dead, one of my favorites. That's the one where they're at the mall stuck. This one is great. Dawn of the Dead I really like. Land of the Dead, I don't really like the ending. The ending doesn't make sense to me. So I'll leave it at that. And we have, these are actually, I believe, one of the last by George Romero. This is it has Diary of the Dead, Day of the Dead, and Survival of the Dead. This is the 3-pack Blu-ray right here. And we also have just random ones. We have Hell of the Living Dead right here, with the Rats, a double feature right here, Night of Terror. We have City of the Living Dead. These are all like really gory Blu-rays. But you know, if you're a zombie fan, you like zombie movies, you know, these are going to be right up your alley. But again, very gory. Oh, and this is one of my favorites. Everybody loves this one right here. The Return of the Living Dead. This is a classic 80s movie. Right off the back, the synthesizer music just does it for you. It puts you in the mood right back in the 80s. And as soon as you hear that synthesizer music, the movie just starts off with a bang. Just throws you right into the action, into the thick of it. Everybody loves this one. If you haven't seen this one, I really recommend this one. The Return of the Living Dead right here. This one's awesome. And then we have just some random zombie movies. Disaster LA. The Last Zombie Apocalypse. The Last Zombie Apocalypse Begins Here. Rise of the Zombies with Danny Trejo right on the front. Machete's up in this one. And this one's a 4-pack. I got it because of the one movie called Mimesis, Night of the Living Dead, which has a real different take on the Night of the Living Dead. So I wanted to check it out, and I really do like that one. It has a real different spin-off of Night of the Living Dead. It's called Mimesis, Night of the Living Dead. So check that one out. That one's a good one. It also has other movies on here that may or may not be. I guess they are zombies movies. The Demented, The Crazies, The Terror Experiment, and Mimesis, Night of the Living Dead. So these I would recommend Mimesis. Check that out. It's a good one. I haven't seen the other one, so let me know what you guys think if you haven't seen them. And then we get to the comedies right here. We got Zombie Strippers right here with Robert Englund, Jenna Jameson. Haven't seen it yet, so I want to check that one out. Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. Now this one's pretty funny. I haven't seen it in a while, but it's a funny one. Zombieland, right here, the original Zombieland Blu-ray. Let me know what you guys think about this movie, cause a lot of people love this one, and I do too. And I also really like the second one. Now this is one where the second one does live up to the first one. Zombieland 2, Zombieland Double Tap is an awesome comedy zombie movie, and you know what? It's just as good as the first one. You can watch this one on its own, and it's hilarious. And last, Shaun of the Dead. You know I had to have this one. Steelbook right here. This is a classic zombie comedy. Still lives up to it to this day. It's always funny. You could always pop this one in. If you want to watch a horror movie or a comedy, this one's both of them, and it lives up to both. It lives up to the horror and the comedy on it, so you can't go wrong with this one, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section about Shaun of the Dead. And right here, this is what we all came to see. I want to show you guys something right here. Something that I just found out. As you can see, I have Zombie right here on Blu-ray. And Zombie is pretty much the Italian version of Dawn of the Dead, it says right here. So that's Zombie 1. There is no Zombies 2. There is Zombie Flesh Eaters. No Zombie 2. There is a Zombie 3. There is a Zombie 4. And there is a Zombie 5. If you can believe it, all the way up to 5. But again, like I said, there is no Zombie 2. There's only Zombie Flesh Eaters. Which, if you know the controversy behind that story, you know that Zombie 3 is actually Zombie Flesh Eaters 2. So, you know, I guess you gotta know what the story is behind that. It's crazy. But again, no Zombie 2, just Zombie Flesh Eaters. But we got Zombie 3, got Zombie 4, and we got Zombie 5. So what I'm going to do is actually give you guys a quick review about Zombie 5, Killing Birds, which is a movie I just recently saw last night. And when it comes to zombie movies, this one's kind of different. So I just want to give you guys kind of my review and let you guys know what the movie is about. And maybe you can give me your opinion. Or if you've seen it yourself, you know, let me know something that I don't know about the movie. But I'll just give you a quick review, a quick summary about the movie. Zombie 5 Killing Birds. And the movie starts off with a man in a airborne ranger jacket. And the stabbings begin, you know what I mean? Off the back. Even a bird accidentally gets stabbed. And that kind of reveals a lot about the end of the movie, you know? And that's where the bird anger begins, you know? And the acting's kind of shaky. I wouldn't say it's bad, but it's kind of that fine line where the acting style, it may be good acting for the 70s, but if it's the 80s, then the acting is kind of outdated and crappy, you know? And I'm not too sure what year the movie was made, you know, because the same thing. The video quality is great for the 70s, but if this movie was made in the 80s, then it's bad quality, you know? So I'm not really sure, you know? So there's a serial killer going around, and it's slicing people's necks for no apparent reason, you know? And he's only going for the necks, you know? He only slits, I guess he slits the neck as some type of calling card, you know? But he has heart enough not to kill a baby, and he basically lets all these pet birds out of cages and just lets them free. You know, this is a serial killer we're talking about. So he's letting pet birds out of cages, letting them go, slitting throats, you know, and that's just the beginning. You know, the killings kind of slow down after that, you know, and the setting kind of changes. The movie changes to a bunch of college kids learning that they're gonna go on a trip. You know, they're about to go on an expedition to save some endangered birds. You know, and one of the kids is actually a game programmer. You know, and I'm not gonna tell you how I know that, but he basically shows this kid some graphics, and the graphics are way ahead of their time. You know, let me just tell you. You know, they basically the kids, the college kids get a grant, and they're off on their way to the jungle. You know, well actually, it can't be a jungle because it can't even be that far from their school. They basically took a van to get to the expedition. So yeah, a van. So it couldn't have been that far to take a van. You know, they didn't take a plane or anywhere. So it was probably like right down the street, right? you know, and once they're in the van, one of the kids start talking, and he must be like super stoned. His eyes are like bloodshot. His speech is slow. You know, he basically looked like he was just in a Cheech and Chong van, and he hopped into this next van right after. It's really funny. You know, and basically they find the house they're looking for in a matter of seconds, a matter of just a couple seconds. You know, I mean, it is a movie. You know, they got there basically probably within 5 seconds, I would say. You know, it couldn't have been more than a few blocks from the school, you know. And then there's a man. Once they get to the house, they find a man with his eyes pecked out, and he's all disfigured and scarred. And I'll be honest, I'm kind of relieved when he puts his sunglasses back on. And he actually asked somebody if a cat has their tongue. You know the audacity of this bastard, the irony of this man to ask somebody if a cat has their tongue. You know, when he has his eyes pecked out, it's crazy. You know, and I guess the blind man, he knows all about birds. He knows the calls, the sounds to attract the birds, everything it seems. You know, I guess being blind gives him an incredible hearing for the communicating with birds. You know, the movie is, after all, called Zombie 5, Killing Birds, which I think is just like a bad translation of Killer Birds. I may be wrong about that, you know. And it seems like this house that the college kids stumble upon has a bunch of empty bird cages all around, you know, with all the birds escaped. You know, now some of the kids are amazed at all the empty bird cages, and to be honest, some of the kids are kind of creeped out, you know, for obvious reasons. You know, all these empty bird cages all around. It's kind of weird. You know, and out of nowhere, all the birds reappear into the cages. You know, the setting begins to feel somewhat like a haunted house. But it's all mind tricks the house is doing. The house is seeming to give off like some type of mind tricking to make the kids scared, like a haunted house somewhat. You know, so the kids try to turn on a electricity generator, and it catches the kid on fire. You know what I mean? Like, what? He runs out of the house fully engulfed in flames, and the kid never hits the ground. You know, I guess Stop, Drop, and Roll was more of like a 1990s thing, because the kid obviously didn't know about Stop, Drop, and Roll. You know, he just keeps running off into the woods, fully engulfed, you know, and no one ever goes to look for the kid. They see him fully ablaze, running into the woods. Nobody ever goes to check on him. You know, the college kids start getting killed randomly by a faceless killer. And until one of them gets the bright idea, let's leave. You know, so they hop into a van. They try to hotwire it. And this is about mid-movie, I'd say. And this is where the zombies are first shown. You know, a zombie breaks into the van window, grabs a girl by the head, and it breaks the girl's neck. You know, it throws her back like a fish that was catch and release with the body, you know. It didn't eat the brains or nothing, which was kind of weird. What kind of zombies are these? You know, now all the other killings before this have been the faceless serial killer related. You know, they don't get very far in the van, and they end up back at the house somehow. And the electricity generator kills another guy. Yeah, a freaking machine starts taking people out. Like, let me join in on the action. You know, then the zombies come back stronger than ever. even breaking through a solid block wall in one scene. You know, someone finally gets the smart idea of getting a gun, but immediately drops it in front of the zombie and runs. You know, the last 3 remaining students are in the attic until a zombie breaks through the roof and grabs the guy by the head. You know, I'm beginning to see a pattern here with that too. You know, how does a zombie get way on the roof anyhow? You know, he must have been a roofer in his past life or something. Before zombie killing. Now, so far in the movie, all the murders have been by knife, by slit throats, and all the zombie kills have been by neck breaks. You know, the zombie leaves this poor guy dangling from the roof by his neck, as if the zombie has him in the headlock, but he never lets him go, but he never either pulls him up through the roof. Again, he never eats the brains, just snaps the guy's neck and moves on. The last 2 hide in the basement. They spend the whole night up there until the sun rises. Then they decide to go back downstairs. And surprise, no one there. Now let's remember, there has only been so far 2 zombie kills in the movie titled Zombie 5 Killing Birds. Now at this point, the birds finally show back up. And up to this point, the birds have really slowed down with the killing. And no surprise, the blind man reappears with the nonchalant, "There's no need to be afraid." Really, after 10 deaths, they should be calm. They feed on fear. I'm like, who, the zombies or the birds? The zombies sure don't feed on brains, I know that much. It was fear that killed your friends. Yeah, and a butcher knife, and a couple snap necks, and a generator, twice. Now that I think of it, now the zombie kills are equal to the small engine generator kills. Well, that sounds crazy to say about a horror movie in the zombie franchise. But seeing how none of the zombie movies actually have anything to do with each other or tie into each other, it still doesn't make any damn sense. Well, the birds finally show up to have their revenge on the blind man. He tells the remaining 2 kids, "Students, leave the house." A few stock images of birds feeding on something to symbolize the eating of the blind man's carcass. And you really have to use your imagination because the end film credits start rolling fast. I'm talking about like a snap of a finger, the movie is finished. Finite. Now, I like to imagine him picked clean like a bucket of KFC. Ironically, picked clean like a bird. Now, for a movie named Zombie 5 Killing Bird, it only had 2 damn zombies. Only 2. And even the birds don't kill until the last 1 minute of the movie. And then the end of the movie. Before any explanations of why the zombies are there. Correction. Why the 2 zombies are there. And it could actually have been the same damn zombie. It could actually have been a single zombie in the movie titled Zombie 5. There's not even 5 damn zombies in the whole damn movie. So I come to the conclusion that the serial killer may have been the blind man the whole time. And that's why the birds ultimately fed on his bloody carcass. Again, you have to use your own imagination. Because even though it's a gore-packed movie, they couldn't show that scene at the end. And they rolled the end credits before they explained anything about the zombies. Nothing about the birds. Both in the title of the movie. Again, none of the zombie movies connect to each other or have anything to do with each other. So obviously, they made a crap bird horror movie, threw in a few zombies, one zombie, a butcher knife, and a killer generator, and they just slapped the Zombie 5 title to get poor saps like me to watch it. As a matter of fact, now that I think about it, the movie has an alternate damn title called Raptors, which was more than likely the original name of the movie to begin with before they changed it to Zombie 5 just to add it to this fake zombie franchise that has nothing to do with each other to get me to watch it. So, my conclusion, I really don't like the fact that they left their friend behind and they never went to go look for him in the woods. The Introvert, Moviebuff, Bird, end credits, done.